Have you ever walked into a store, seen a price tag that said, originally $500, now only $250, and thought, wow, what a bargain? Or maybe you've been comparing two similar products, one priced at $99.99 and the other at $105, and the first one just felt like a significantly better deal, even though the difference is, in reality, quite minimal. These aren't accidents, and they're not coincidences. These are meticulously crafted examples of a powerful cognitive bias called anchoring, and it's subtly, almost imperceptibly, influencing your purchasing decisions every single day, from the smallest impulse buys to the largest, most considered investments. This isn't about being tricked or manipulated in some overtly malicious or deceptive way. It's not about some grand conspiracy by businesses to exploit consumers. It's about understanding the inherent quirks, the fascinating and sometimes frustrating eccentricities of the human mind, how our brains process information, often in ways we're not consciously aware of, and how businesses, whether consciously or unconsciously, leverage these quirks in their pricing strategies. We're going to explore this fascinating and sometimes unsettling world of how our perception of value is shaped, molded, and often distorted, often without us even realizing it's happening. We're going on a journey to understand the subtle architecture of persuasion. Think back to a time you negotiated a price, perhaps for a car, a piece of furniture, or even something as simple as an item at a flea market. Did the seller start with a high initial price? A price that, in retrospect, might seem almost laughably inflated. That initial number, even if it seemed completely unreasonable at the time, likely served as an anchor. It set a reference point, a benchmark deep within your mind, and even if you negotiated the price down significantly, perhaps even feeling quite proud of your bargaining skills, you probably still felt like you got a good deal relative to that initial inflated anchor. That's the anchoring bias in action, working its subtle magic on your perception. It's the tendency, a deeply ingrained cognitive habit, to rely too heavily, often disproportionately, on the first piece of information offered, the anchor, when making decisions, even if that information is demonstrably irrelevant, arbitrary, or even completely fabricated. Let's delve a bit deeper into how this surprisingly pervasive phenomenon works and how it manifests in everyday situations. Imagine you're shopping for a new watch. You've been browsing online perhaps, or window shopping, and you have a general idea of what you're looking for. You see two watches you like, both seemingly comparable in terms of quality and features. One is displayed with a prominent sign that says, regularly $1,000, today only $499. The other is simply priced at $475. No mention of a previous higher price. No dramatic fanfare, just a simple price tag. Even if the $475 watch is objectively a better value, perhaps even a superior watch in terms of craftsmanship or materials, the first one, with its dramatic, eye-catching discount, often feels more appealing, more enticing. Why? Because the $1,000 figure acts as a powerful, almost irresistible anchor, making the $499 price seem like an incredible steal, a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Your brain is subconsciously, almost automatically, comparing the current price to the original price, creating a perception of significant savings, even if that original price was inflated, artificially high, or entirely fictitious. It's the illusion of a bargain that often matters more than the actual bargain itself. This isn't just limited to discounts or situations involving a clear before and after price. Consider the incredibly common, almost ubiquitous practice of ending prices in 99 cents. A product priced at $19.99 feels psychologically, almost viscerally, much cheaper than one priced at $20, even though the difference is a mere, almost insignificant 1 cent. This is because our brains, in their quest for efficiency, tend to focus on the leftmost digit. We see the 19, and our brain, in a shortcut of cognitive processing, registers it as being in the teens rather than closer to 20. It's a subtle but remarkably effective tactic, a tiny detail that can have a disproportionately large impact on our purchasing decisions. It's a testament to the power of seemingly small psychological cues. Another technique, A slightly more sophisticated and often less obvious one is what's known as decoy pricing. This is where things get particularly interesting and where the manipulation, while still subtle, becomes a bit more deliberate. Imagine you're choosing between two sizes of popcorn at the movie theater, a classic scenario of consumer choice. A small is $3 and a large is $7. Many people faced with this choice might opt for the small, thinking the large is simply too expensive, an unnecessary indulgence. Now imagine the theater adds a third option, a medium size, strategically priced at $6.50. Suddenly the large at $7 seems like a much better deal, a much more attractive proposition compared to the medium, which is only 50 cents less. The medium popcorn is a decoy, carefully positioned and priced. It's not there to be sold in large quantities. Its primary purpose is to influence your choice between the small and the large, to nudge you towards the higher-priced option. It's a subtle but powerful manipulation of your perception of value. The context in which prices are presented, the surrounding environment, and the overall atmosphere also plays a crucial, often underestimated role. Think about the difference between buying a bottle of wine in a discount grocery store versus a high-end restaurant, a restaurant with linen tablecloths, soft lighting, and impeccable service. The same bottle of wine, the exact same vintage and producer, might be priced significantly higher in the restaurant, and you might be perfectly willing, even expecting, to pay that higher price. Why? Because the ambiance, the attentive service, the overall experience, the context, profoundly influences your perception of value. You're not just paying for the wine itself, you're paying for the entire dining experience, the atmosphere, the prestige, the feeling of being pampered. The context elevates the perceived value of the product. This principle applies to a wide range of goods and services, from clothing and electronics to real estate and professional services. Let's consider another example, one that moves beyond the realm of simple consumer goods. Imagine you're looking to hire a consultant for your business. One consultant quotes you a fee of $5,000. Another consultant, with seemingly similar qualifications and experience, quotes you $10,000, but then offers a discount, bringing the price down to $7,500. Even though the second consultant is still more expensive, the initial $10,000 figure acts as an anchor, making the $7,500 price seem more reasonable, perhaps even a bargain in comparison. This highlights how anchoring can influence even high-stakes, complex decisions, not just our everyday purchases. So how can you, as a consumer, as an individual navigating this complex landscape of pricing and persuasion, protect yourself from these subtle yet powerful psychological pricing traps? Awareness is the first and undoubtedly the most crucial step. Simply understanding that these biases exist, that your brain is wired in a way that makes you susceptible to these influences, can make you a more discerning, more critical shopper. Before making a purchase, large or small, take a moment to pause and ask yourself, am I being influenced by an anchor price? Is this really a good deal, objectively speaking, or does it just seem like one because of how it's presented, because of the clever framing and strategic pricing? Try to do your own research to gather information from multiple sources. Don't rely solely on the information provided by the seller, which is, understandably, designed to present the product or service in the most favorable light. Look at prices from different retailers, compare features and benefits, read reviews, and try to determine the true value of the product or service, independent of any anchoring tactics or persuasive framing. Seek out objective data to counteract the subjective influence of anchoring. Consider the absolute value, not just the relative value. Instead of focusing solely on how much you're saving compared to a supposed original price, a price that may or may not be genuine, think about how much the product is actually worth to you personally. Does it fit your specific needs? Does it align with your budget and your financial goals? Is it something you'll genuinely use and enjoy, something that will truly add value to your life? It's also incredibly helpful, a powerful tool in your arsenal of mindful consumption, to be mindful of your emotional state when making purchasing decisions. Are you feeling stressed, rushed, pressured, or perhaps overly excited? These emotions, both positive and negative, can significantly amplify your susceptibility to anchoring and other cognitive biases. When you're in a heightened emotional state, your rational decision-making processes can be compromised. If possible, take a step back, breathe deeply, and try to make your decision when you're feeling calm, rational, and clear-headed. A clear mind is less susceptible to manipulation. Consider this. Have you ever noticed how often sales and promotions are tied to time pressure? Limited time offer. Sale ends soon. These phrases are designed to create a sense of urgency, to trigger your fear of missing out, FOMO, and to push you into making a quick decision, a decision that might be based more on emotion than on careful consideration. This sense of urgency can exacerbate the effects of anchoring, making you even more likely to be swayed by the perceived bargain. Furthermore, think about the power of presentation. A product displayed in a luxurious setting, with elegant packaging and sophisticated marketing, will often be perceived as being more valuable than the exact same product, presented in a more basic, less glamorous way. This is why companies invest so heavily in branding and marketing. It's not just about creating awareness, it's about shaping perception. Remember the example of the wine? The same principle applies to countless other products. A simple t-shirt, when displayed in a high-end boutique with flattering lighting and stylish mannequins, can command a much higher price than the same t-shirt sold in a discount store. The context, the presentation, the overall atmosphere, all contribute to the perceived value. And it's not just about the physical environment. Online, the design of a website, the quality of the photography, the use of persuasive language, and even the font choice can all influence your perception of a product's value. A well-designed website with professional photography and compelling copy can make a product seem more desirable, more trustworthy, and therefore more valuable. This isn't about demonizing businesses or suggesting that all pricing strategies are inherently manipulative or unethical. Many businesses use these techniques simply because they're effective and they're not necessarily trying to deceive anyone intentionally. The marketplace is, in many ways, a battle for attention and perception. But as consumers, it's our responsibility, our right, and ultimately in our best interest to be informed and to make conscious, deliberate choices. We have the power to choose. The anchoring bias is a powerful force, a deeply ingrained aspect of human cognition, but it's not insurmountable. It's not some unbeatable foe. By understanding how it works, by recognizing its subtle manifestations, and by taking a few simple, practical precautions, you can become a more savvy, more empowered, and ultimately more satisfied consumer. You can make purchases that truly align with your needs, your values, and your long-term goals, rather than being swayed by psychological tricks, clever marketing, or the illusion of a bargain. You have the power to shift your perspective, to see beyond the surface, beyond the carefully crafted presentation, and to make choices that are truly in your best interest, choices that reflect your informed and considered judgment. This journey of understanding the intricacies, the complexities, and the often hidden workings of our minds is a continuous one, a lifelong pursuit. And each step we take, each new insight we gain empowers us to make better choices, not just in our purchases, but in all aspects of our lives, from our relationships to our careers to our personal well-being. Remember, the more you understand, the subtle forces that influence your decisions, the forces that shape your perceptions and guide your actions, the more control you have over your own choices, your own destiny. The power to choose wisely, to choose consciously, is ultimately in your hands. It's about taking ownership of your decision-making process, becoming a more mindful and discerning consumer, and ultimately, a more empowered individual. The goal isn't to eliminate all biases. That's likely impossible, but to be aware of them, to understand their influence, and to make choices that are truly aligned with your best interests. This awareness is the key to unlocking a more fulfilling and empowered life.